What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Party on Broad. Today, we are ranking every position in the NFC East heading into 2025. Joining me, Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA on X. What's up, Ryan?
Not much. Ready to talk a little positional ranking, see how much better we are than the NFC East.
Also joining us, Rob Lange at Philly_Manis. What's good, Rob?
I'm just looking forward to Ryan giving S's to all the Eagles positions and S's to his favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, as well. And then he'll give his F's to the Giants. But no, looking forward to it. I want to venture Dibes. I think we need a new beginning without that fake ass team in blue and red and white that annoyed all of us for the last years of our lives.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make some changes because literally 95% of our shows are Eagles centric. And we did a Sixers show last week comparing VJ versus Ace Bailey, and it felt dirty. It felt weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Should have.
It should have.
You got Pumpman in the house. Commanders got the S tier QB. We're gonna start off with that.
Pump is apparently a world-renowned podcast agitator. I hear him on multiple podcasts that read comments, and Pump is just Mr. Agitator to everyone. So keep it going, Pump.
All right, let's jump right into this thing. We've got a lot of positions to break down. As always, if you're watching us live, comment with us and things like that. Let's make this fun. Pumpman says if we pass on Ace, go ahead and explode the Xfinity Arena. I'm with you, Pumpman. I graded VJ just slightly better than Ace, but the pick should be Ace Bailey without a question. You're not drafting for 2026. You're drafting for 3 years from now and beyond. So I'm right there with you, Pumpman. All right, let's jump into this thing. Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants, quarterback positional ranking. We're doing this S to F tier. S meaning superb. F, as you know, is the bottom of the barrel. Lead us off, Ryan. Where would you put the birds?
I'm gonna have to say S.
All right, S tier for Ryan. Where are you at, Rob?
I got to tell you, the most important stat for quarterbacks is wins. And we have one that no matter how much he throws, how much he runs, he wins. So because of that, I can't believe I'm saying this.
Let's go.
I have to agree with Mr. Ryan Reese and put him in the S tier.
Exactly. He's a world effing champ. Put some goddamn respect on his name.
And the fact that you have Tanner McKee just pushes you up to the S, if you ask me.
Oh my God. Maybe I should drop it now.
Paul says VJ reminds me too much of Denny Smith Jr. They are completely different players, Paul Man. Completely different players, especially coming out of college. VJ's more of a big wing or a big size guard wing. Dennis Smith Jr. is more of a point guard. I'm with you, though. I think Hurts is more of an A tier, but we're doing cumulative. So this is obviously going to be an S tier. I thought A was really high for Jalen Hurts.
No, listen, I went back and forth, but because of the wins, the guy has just won. And he's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. There is not an Eagles quarterback in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles that have been to 2 Super Bowls. Ever.
Jalen Hurts is Tyrese Halliburton. Tanner, I agree, Rob. Tanner McKee is S tier.
Yeah. Me and Pump agree.
I would have put in the quarterback position at A, but you guys voted me out. Let's go to the Commanders. Rob, lead us off. What about the quarterback position for the Commanders?
So I'm going to say S begrudgingly because I'm of the belief that you've got to do it for more than 1 year. But what Jaden Daniels did last year was so good. And since all we have to go off of right now is last year with him, I think for the time being you put S, but that could go down at some point.
S tier for Rob. What about you, Ryan?
A.
A.
Come on. We've seen this show before.
Yeah.
In RG3. Now,
RG3 was never the RG3 was never the prolific passer.
Hold on.
Never.
Hold on. Okay, let me finish. I'm not saying that they're alike in any way, but what I'm saying is we have seen a rookie Washington quarterback come out of the gate and light it up, light the world on fire. Okay?
With Mike Shanahan risking his career.
Let me finish. You need consistency to get an S tier. I'm sorry.
He hasn't had the opportunity for consistency, though. All we could go off of is what we've seen. You can go off of is what you saw.
But your lack of experience hurts you for me. Do it more, and I'll say, yeah. Sorry.
He was a rookie who led his team into Detroit and beat a team that most people thought was unbeatable in Detroit. And not only beat them, smoke them.
And what happened to him the next week? He got smoked.
Yeah. By a division rival who knew how to play him.
He played pretty good behind a terrible defense. I'm good with
it. Do it more.
Yes, like you said, we've seen this script before. We've seen quarterbacks like him get crowned way too soon.
What did we all do with C.J. Stroud? He was the next coming. And what happened? He had a shitty sophomore season. Now, I'm not saying he can't.
Was that on him? Was that on him?
Yeah, but guess what? You just said wins are a quarterback stat, right?
That's what people tell me.
Okay. But what I'm saying is you need consistency and a little longevity to be able to be a top-tier quarterback. And listen, if he does it 2-3 years in a row, all right, you know what? That's fine. Until proven otherwise, sure. You can have that S, but not yet.
Rewatch that NFC Championship game, and you'll see everybody not named Jaden Daniels letting the team.
I get it. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying, on the simple fact of the matter, he needs to do it another year at least.
Fully agree.
For me to consider.
But I am a believer. I do believe in his upside. So I'm good with S. Papa Man says, "Come on, CJ had no help. He was passing to I don't even know who that is. Is that real? Is that a real football player?
No idea. Let's just say yes.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it.
Let's go to the Cowboys. Dak Prescott struggled last year, to say the least, by virtually every metric. He had his worst season in 2024. Career high sack rate, as well as worst EPA and accuracy rate. Had a horrible surrounding cast. Is coming off a season-ending hamstring injury. He's only got 2 playoff wins in 9 years with the Cowboys. He's now 32. Where are you at, Rob, with the Cowboys quarterback position?
Well, the whole Eagles fan base is going to want you to give him a C, a D, and F because he just sucks. Dak is a B. I mean, Pumper just took the words out of my mouth. Dak's a B quarterback. I'm not saying he's great, but he has been good more so than not good. He doesn't win in the big moment. I understand that. But I think Jerry Jones plays a lot of that. So I think it's very fair to label Dak a B quarterback.
Right.
Yeah, listen, I think Dak's had some A-level years. But
he's coming on just 2 years ago. This is a guy that led the NFL in touchdown passes.
Yeah. I mean, listen, but let's be fair. The Cowboys are notorious garbage time stat vultures. So, saying that he led the league in touchdowns, is a little unfair to without seeing the big picture. But my point also is he doesn't win when it matters. He wins the BS games. He wins against the teams he's supposed to be winning against. He doesn't win tough games. He doesn't win in the playoffs.
Facts.
I can't do anything about that and give you anything more than a B. And me personally, I think I'm being a little, giving on that one.
All right.
Well, he is your favorite player. He's your favorite player.
Rob, I don't know.
Can we get Ryan some Dak Prescott shower curtains?
Dak Prescott or Tanner McKee? Who you got?
Oh my God.
Wow, what a setup.
Let's roll on to the New York
What a
Giants.
setup.
This is obviously their biggest weakness in 2024. Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, and friends, like they had 15 big time throws and 24 turnover worthy plays in that quarterback room. They brought in Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Jackson Dart. Where would you put this, Ryan?
Yeah, listen, I think they, again, I think Dart can be a quarterback. Again, obviously he hasn't done anything, so it really is only on the potential and the whole Russell Jameis thing. Honestly, I feel like they're going to be shooting kind of a reality TV show just based upon the two of them because it just leads to so much unintentional comedy. The two of them. Les, I still think they're C overall. I think Russell Wilson is, a half a decade away from being a good quarterback. And, Jameis will throw the ball 5,000 yards, but, for who, for what? And Dart, again, shouldn't have been a first-round quarterback, in my opinion. But
Rob, where you at?
Yeah, I mean, 5 years ago, maybe they're in the CB range. This is a D quarterback room. You got an old Russell Wilson. You have, Jameis Winston, who is what he is. And then I'm not a big Jackson Dart guy. I think they overshot for him, to be honest with you. That's a D quarterback room right now at this point.
Yep. Jameis and Russell, bridge quarterbacks.
Sure, but
Jackson Dart was massively overdrafted. I like Jackson Dart. He was a fun player to watch in college.
Sure was.
But I really hope he's not thrown into the fire, man. He needs time. Yep. Let's roll on to running back. Where would you put the Eagles running back position, Ryan?
I mean, Saquon just ran for 2,000 yards. He's, whether you believe in the curse or not, he's on the cover of Madden. He's everywhere. He absolutely energized this team, this offense. Yeah, you know it. I don't even have to say it.
Yeah, you can't not put them in superior when Saquon did what he just did. I mean, yes, I expect him to there's going to be a little bit of a drop off. He's not going to do that again, but he's still a superior back.
He had of 10 yards or more, he had 55 of those last year, 2,500 rushing yards. And like big picture wise, why he's an S tier for me is like not just what he does on the field. Like this dude is beyond humble. Like this dude is all about family. He is incredible in terms of just on and off the field, pure culture, leadership, everything you want out of a true superstar. Saquon is it. And then you get to Will Shipley and A.J. Dillon. I have concerns. I'm not sold on either one of those guys. And maybe we're talking about a different running back, week 16, week 17, making an impact. It truly will come down to who is the best pass protector in passing situations in that area. I am hopeful Will Shipley can improve his pass protection, but we really haven't seen a lot of it. Any concerns about the backup running back room?
I feel like, yeah, obviously, you have A.J. Dillon who's coming back after a very serious neck injury. Will Shipley, again, is what he is. I don't think we're really going to be seeing much growth out of him.
I'm with you, Ryan.
And yeah, listen, I may have made fun of Kenny Gainwell, but I've had a love-hate relationship with every single backup running back, I think, in the history of the Eagles organization. So, yeah, listen, it doesn't really do anything special. And if, Saquon needs a breather or is maybe hurt a little, a tiny bit, we're in trouble. But still.
Yep. Any thoughts on that, Rob? And lead us off with the Commanders.
Yeah, I just say, if A.J. Dillon could give you anything, that's what you're looking for. You hope Will Shipley takes a step. They're going to know pretty early in camp wouldn't be surprised if they added somebody at some point. But right now, I'm not overly concerned at the moment. As far as the Commanders are concerned, look, it's really right now Brian Robinson. I know, and you have Austin Eckler, and then did they draft a back?
They got. I'm looking at Chris Rodriguez Jr. He's a rookie, right?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on, I'm pulling my.
Or am I thinking of someone else?
Chris Rodriguez Jr. They still
doesn't sound like anybody I care about.
No, I'm thinking of somebody else. My bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
No, well, the look, their two backs are decent enough backs. They're not great. They're not terrible. I'll give them a solid B. I am a Brian Robinson fan. I actually like Brian Robinson. I don't think he was utilized enough. I don't know if it's because their offensive line couldn't block for him or not. So I'll give that room a B because they got two decent backs.
That's where I'm at too, man. I'm actually a little higher on the command. They're my second favorite in this division. Outside of the Eagles, like this division sucks when it comes to running backs.
Right.
So it was the Commanders and another team that had me going back and forth. But I like Brian Robinson. I mean, and I like Austin Eckler. These are guys that are not flashy, but they get the job done. And, you look at their run game last year, they were tops in the league right there with the Birds and explosive plays in terms of first downs and so forth. So, Ryan, where would you be at?
I'm a C, honestly.
Okay.
Listen, I get it. Eckler is again 5 years from his previous prime. Robinson, he does an all right job. He's a starting quarterback or a starting running back. But he doesn't really do anything all that special for me.
Okay.
And the fact that you have two guys means you have no guys, in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, give me a C.
Right. I think, Rob, you went to B, right?
Yes.
All right. So B it is for.
Yeah. So Ryan loses again at the end of the day.
Let's go to the New York Giants. Tyrone Tracy Jr. had a really good rookie year. Could be a sleeper. You got Cam Scatterbo, I was a big fan of as Arizona State, but I'm going to go with C. Rob, where you at?
I'm going with the D because I just don't know about Tyrone Tracy. Yeah, I love the idea of Scatterbo, but I'm not there yet, especially I don't know what this Giants offensive line is going to look like this year. So I got to stick at a D right here.
Ryan.
Damn. Yeah, I'll go with a C. They have Devin Singletary there still as well. I think there is some potential in Tracy and Scatterbo. I certainly would love for Tracy to kind of improve upon what he did last year, and hopefully Scatterbo can kind of help with that. But again, it's nothing exciting. C is still pretty terrible.
Yeah.
And then we get to the Dallas freaking Cowboys, and you guys remember the time Deuce Vaughn was drafted by Dallas, and all the Cowboys fans were going crazy, thinking they had the next great one. And you look at most depth charts, the dude is fourth on the depth chart behind Jaden Blue and Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. Rob, where are you at with the Cowboys?
Yeah, it seems like they're just, throwing darts at a dartboard and hoping one sticks. But you've had a guy in Javonte Williams who has had a flash or two. Obviously, we know what Miles Sanders has had here in Philadelphia. I was a huge Jaden Blue fan.
He's good, man.
That was a guy that I wanted the Eagles to draft late, honestly. So I'm willing to give them a C in the running back category because they've got enough names where you got to hope one sticks for them.
Ryan, where you at?
Damn. I would have thought you would have said that about the Giants at least, but no, I'm D. This is the worst friggin' room in the division. This might be the worst room in football.
That's a bit much, bro.
No, I'm telling you, what do they expect to happen? Like if Blue isn't your starter halfway through the season, something
should be
horribly wrong. No offense. Again, I've had hope fantasy-wise in Javonte Williams. Miles Sanders hasn't been relevant in years. I'm just saying, I think they are so overly confused about what is happening ever since they re-signed Ezekiel Elliott one of those previous years.
I agree. I'm at a D. I don't like this room whatsoever. And yeah, I fully agree, Ryan. If Jadon Blue is not like your guy going forward, and
he's not a guy.
He's not a guy. Like, he has a great opportunity.
Oh, he should be your starter by week 2.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm with Ryan. Give me a D for the Cowboys running back group. Pumpman doesn't even know who the Cowboys running backs are. Pumpman's saying everyone's fumbling tonight. Jadon Blue is more of a receiving back still. No one for between the tackles. Yeah, Blue is just a ridiculous athlete.
Yeah, he is. But
Ryan is not exaggerating. It's terrible, and it is the worst running back room.
See, Rob?
I guarantee you I can find a worse running back room in the league. Guaranteed.
The worst running back room?
In the league, guaranteed. I guarantee I can find
the worst one.
I will.
Spend the whole rest of this show Googling running back depth charts.
All right, let's go to wide receiver. Let's go to wide receiver for the Birds. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. A.J. just dominates DBs across the board. His ability to just win against single coverage is still some of the most hilarious matchups there is. I have, for some weird reason,
found it.
No, you didn't.
Nah, who is it?
Yeah. Cleveland right now. Jerome Ford, Q Judkins, D. Sampson, Pierre Strong.
Is that Quinchon Judkins?
Quinchon Judkins, you dummy.
Not better than Javonte Williams. Found another one, and I don't care that he's a rookie. Denver. Don't give me R.J. Harvey as the guy that's going to make them great, followed by Austin Estime. Nope, they suck.
Do you even know who either of those guys are? I love that group.
Let's see.
Yeah. I love Estime. Notre Dame, second year.
Let me guess. You love
I didn't know they were on the same team.
Rob, if you don't know who people are, just say you don't know.
Let me guess. Let me guess. You love New England with Ramondre Stevenson, who's been a friggin' loser, and then somebody named T. Henderson. They suck.
Travion Henderson, you dummy.
And he sucks.
He's an Ohio State running back.
And he's a rookie who has never played, which you said matters.
You're absolutely right. But
you can stop. I'm absolutely right. You can stop right there.
No, you're not. Talk to anybody over here in the chat. They will not agree with you.
These guys are idiots.
This guy you said, whoever this guy is, Q Junkins.
And by the way, this idea that the Giants are this better running back room, they may be equal, but they are not better. Devin Singletary hasn't done anything in 5 years.
Man, honestly, the groups you just listed, I'm actually really excited about.
You guys are awful.
Might be bad, but there's some excitement to them. What does Dallas have going for them?
Yeah,
nothing. You can't say you're excited about Blue if you aren't excited about the 3 rookie running backs you just freaking named.
But I think Javonte Williams could be fine for them. I think he could be absolutely fine for them.
Yeah, he could also be fine for a Canadian Football League.
But if he's fine for them, then it means that room is better than you're giving them credit for.
What? No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. If he works out well for them.
A lot of people confused about Rob's takes here.
Wow, yeah, Rob, yeah, right.
These people are jackasses. I don't care what they think.
R.J. Harvey in the right system is going to be dynamic. He's going to be so good, man. There's a reason why they said this was one of the deepest running back classes in years. I think R.J. is going to be great.
Agreed.
Judkins was a borderline first rounder.
Who's this guy? Q Judkins.
T. Henderson.
You guys are that yet he's lit. Yet they have him listed behind Jerome Ford. How good are you?
Because
if
he's
you're
a rookie, yeah.
Who cares? If he's that good, he should be above him. R.J. Harvey was listed as a 1.
Well, because they have nobody else. Still.
All right. Let's roll on. Wide receiver.
They all stink.
Wide receiver.
But he said T. Henderson.
Yeah, Trayvon Henderson stinks. He stinks.
That was the best line.
We're definitely going to clip this.
He stinks. You heard it here first. He stinks.
Clip it and tag him on X, too.
He stinks. I'll continue to say it. They stink.
You guys ever watch that underrated?
I wonder who the Dallas fan is here.
Underrated animated TV show called The Critic.
Yes, of course.
No.
John Lovett.
Rob's that guy. Rob's the critic. He stinks.
He really is. He stinks.
Yeah. Terrible.
Well, that was a good show.
Don't forget S. Barkley.
He's very good. Saquon is very good.
Who's this guy? Barkley.
You guys,
right,
you'll see.
Wide receiver, where you at, Ryan?
I'll go A. I obviously the top 2 don't need to be talked about. It's the rest of the squad that brings it down for an A for me. Obviously, towards the end of the year, you saw a little life in some of the other receivers. Can't even talk. Especially our number 3 wide receiver, whose name is escaping me from Penn State.
Dotson.
Dotson, thank you. Yeah, he started to come along a little bit. But after that, also, what do you got? I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and then I'll just play devil's advocate. Is what does it really matter?
Well, there's also that too.
Dotson was fine last year. There's too many mouths to feed, and when you got Barkley and Goddard and all these other, receivers that can do damage, like it doesn't matter. So Rob, where you at? A?
I'm at an A because of the top 2. After that, you don't know what you have. You can't go S because after your top 2 receivers, you really have no clue what's there.
A Brown, who's that guy?
Oh, you mean a veteran, not a stupid-ass rookie who don't matter.
All right, let's go to Scary Terry. The dude's a straight-up dog. He's led the league with 89 contested catches since 2020. I have always been a big fan of his, and watching him get his moment at times with Jaden Daniels was awesome last year. On the other end, Deebo Samuel, I think, is super overrated. He hasn't been good since 2021, and I'm gonna go a B for the Commanders. Where are you at, Ryan?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of right there. I honestly don't think Deebo's gonna be that bad for Washington. As much as a fan I am not of his. Noah Brown again is an okay number 3. You have Gallup, who the heck knows if he has anything left. You have one of the McCaffreys, not any of the good ones, who may have a little potential there. But obviously McLaurin is where it's at, and he gets a little bit of a bump with Deebo, as at least he's a weapon for however they may end up using him.
What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I would stick with the B. I think they could get to an A depending on what Deebo provides for them. But Terry McLaurin's so good. I like Noah Brown as a 3rd wide receiver, and then obviously because of that, and then Deebo's there, and he's going to make some plays. So B it is.
Is there reports that Terry McLaurin is having issues?
Love it.
I haven't heard that. I'm usually the last person to know, but I'm with Ryan. Like, I would love to hope that's true because he's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's certainly growing on me.
Oh, he's awesome. Still blows my mind that McLaurin is already 30. Terry owns Slay. Thank God he's off the team. Be careful what you wish for there, man. And then Michael Gallup on the Commanders. That's pretty fun. was really good with the Cowboys. He's holding out currently. I did not know that.
Oh, wow.
That's
Let's
fascinating.
Let's hope that continues.
Yes, please. Let's
Do
roll
not say
on.
that, man.
Let's roll on to the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, his production dipped last year with Dak Prescott sidelined, but over the last 5 years, like his stats are right up there with Jamar Chase. They also added George Pickens, who is a straight up diva with a bad attitude, but no one questions his talent. Where you at, Rob?
I mean, yeah, he is a diva, bad attitude, but the guy can play the game, and now he's a number 2 with CeeDee Lamb. And then you're still talking about Turpin, who seems to be coming along well in that wide receiver room. I think they're an A wide receiver group. I really do.
A for Rob. Where you at, Ryan?
Yeah,
I hate to admit it, but
I know. Yeah, that's kind of why I want to put him as a minus. Just because, yeah, I think there certainly could be a ticking time bomb in Pickens that would be hilarious to see explode all over national TV. Talent wise, yeah, he's kind of a dog, and I do like him. But let's be honest, CD, yeah, kind of had a down year. Obviously, the quarterback play had something to do with that, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know. I just right now, if you ask me one squad versus the other, I am going to take the Eagles. But man, it's close. It's real close.
Yeah, I think I would definitely take Devontae over George Pickens. I don't think there's any question there.
And Tolbert isn't terrible as a third. Mingo, you know, again, maybe he has something. And Turpin's a good returner, at least.
Yeah, Turpin's nice. Ryan Flournoy could be a guy that. Oh my God, Paris Campbell's on their roster.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I just saw that too. I was like, well, really? Okay.
But yeah, I'm good with the A. I'm good with the A. Pumpman says jury's out on CD, gets his numbers because of sheer volume. Tell you who, Bingo. Yeah, Mingo is. I never bought into that. Let's roll on to the New York Giants. Malik Neighbors, just an outstanding rookie year, despite the horrific quarterback play. 2.17 yards per route run on average, really good. If the offense improves around him, Malik Neighbors could be a top 10 wide receiver. And outside of that, it's a bunch of mediocre to like above average guys. Where you at, Ryan, with the New York Giants?
Yeah, I mean, man, the drop off is for real after Malik Neighbors. I mean, they got Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, Zach Pascal. Good Lord. I forgot Juice Wells is there as well.
Man, first of all, I was dead wrong on Jalen Hyatt. I thought he was going to be great. That being said, it is the New York Giants. He could go to a different team and be excellent. But I thought Hyatt was a stud.
Yeah, this is the absolute worst receiving core. Wanda Robinson. I'm pretty sure she's on the Marvel. Anyway. Yeah, I'll go D, honestly. No, you know what? I'll say C.
Yeah.
Because Neighbors has to at least give it up one tier.
Rob?
Exactly. That's where I'm at. I'm with them on a C because of Malik Neighbors and Malik Neighbors only, because the rest of those guys are not very good. Bottom line.
All right, let's roll on to tight end. Obviously, we're going to start with the Birds. Dallas Goedert's battle with injuries continued last year, but make no mistake. Sorry, Ryan. He's the best of the best when he's healthy. He was, at the last few weeks of the season and throughout the playoffs, the best receiver on the Philadelphia Eagles. Showed up again and again and again. And outside of that, I do have a lot of questions. I have a lot of question marks. And thank the football gods that Dallas got it returned, because this would have been one of the biggest concerns for this Eagles roster going forward. Pumpman says Goddard is a B.
Well, if Goddard's a B, then the team as a whole has to be at least a C, right?
I'm more BC. I'm more going towards a C. If he's on the field, great. If he's not,
But you don't know. But you
you
just don't know.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to be real about this, like I could be like, oh, it's S or A. I'm actually going towards the bottom, and I'm going to go with a B. Ryan, where you at?
I'll go B minus. I can't give it a full B just because of Goddard's uncertainty. But either way, the team as a whole brings it down so darn much. Johnny Wilson is certainly not a tight end.
No.
So that doesn't factor. But yeah, I mean, again, if I got a gun to my head, B or C, I guess I'd say a B. But man, I mean, Dives, I've been calling for an upgrade at this position as a whole for the last 3 friggin' years, if not longer. So.
Yeah, Grant Calcaterra, and don't get me wrong, like he had his moments. He made a couple of really nice catches. I don't think he had a single drop during the games he played without Dallas Goedert. However, the pass protection, it's like Jalen Brunson. Like he'll give you 30, but he'll give up 40 on the other end. Like Grant Calcaterra is horrific when it comes to pass protection and run blocking and almost a liability.
Let's take away the fun. Oh my God! Did Grant Calcaterra just make that catch? At like 2 or 3 catches he does a year. What do you really have? You have a dog shit tight end too. Sorry.
Say it, Ryan. You would rather have Jack Stoll than Grant Calcaterra.
Listen, I think that both of them could fight to the death. And I wouldn't give a shit who came out a winner.
Because you were the biggest anti-Jack Stoll guy.
I was. He was dog shit too.
Rob, where you at?
Yeah, I mean, I was fighting the BC line the whole time. It's kind of where I sat because the uncertainty of Dallas Goedert. It's funny. I actually rewatched the Eagles-Bengals game last night for God knows what reason, but I did. And Grant Calcaterra had like 3 35-yard catches in that game. It was ridiculous. Yeah. It was absurd. But you're right. I mean, they're just not a good room. I would probably lean more towards C, but I could be talked into that B- range.
Pumpman says BBS count. He's a running back now, man.
Yeah, he's a fullback.
Yeah, I would include him in the running back room.
Oh, well, then what's a tier above S tier then?
He's already yes. I have had segments on this show profoundly admitting my love for BBS. So
yeah, you have. Yeah,
I think he's going to be terrific.
It's a little strange, yeah.
What don't I do that's strange?
No, that's also very true.
Let's roll to tight end for the Commanders. Looking at Washington, Zach Ertz.
Yeah, still somehow alive.
Killed the Eagles. Absolutely killed the Eagles. They kind of let him kill the Eagles a little bit. But, 84 passes, over 800 yards, 84 receptions, 8 touchdowns as well. And then they also have a guy that I am a big fan of, at least through the draft process, and Ben Sinnott. Where you at, Rob? Where'd you put the Commanders tight end?
They're at a C, and I think the only reason I gave him a C was because I loved Zach Ertz when he was here. But I mean, there's nothing about that tight end room that makes me think like, oh, I'm nervous. I know that he torched us last year, but I think that was more the game plan than anything. So I'll give it a C.
Ryan.
Yeah, I gotta agree. There's nothing outside of a 54-year-old Zach Ertz that even remotely scares you. Ben Sinnott just hasn't been really getting a chance. In fact, he's listed as 3rd on the depth chart. So I don't know what's going on there. Whoever the hell John Bates is going to maybe go kill his mother or something. I don't know.
Oh my God. I love it. The movie nerd and me got that joke. That was great. And I agree, Krabby. I hope we see more BVS next year. When they went under center And when he was opening up lanes for Saquon, man, that was so effective. I want to see it for 4 quarters. I don't want to see it for just a few times in the second half when they're running it down other teams' throats. Yeah. Give me 4 quarters of BBS. I'm excited for that, especially as a receiver. I think his athleticism and ability to be a receiver, I think, is untapped. Give me BBS all the way. And I will always talk Ben Van Sumeren if you give me the opportunity. I did not plan that, Ryan. So here we are. Let's go to the tight end for the New York Giants, Theo Johnson. Rob Lange's Theo Johnson could be a breakout star this year. Where are you at with Theo Johnson?
Theo Johnson could go to hell. He could go to hell. Every tight end on their roster can go to hell. That is an F all the way. They suck. They suck. They suck. That is one of the worst rooms in football. Their tight end room.
Oh,
finally something that makes sense from Rob Lange.
I don't know about that. I mean, you might be right, but because I have no idea what any backup tight ends look like in the league. But yeah, I mean, I don't think F is necessary. I'm good with putting him at a D. I mean, Bellinger, had his promises. Rick Dulcich again, had his cup of coffee with Denver. Is all right, but yeah, right, exactly. Why is Paul Heyman so angry? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go D.
You're a D?
Yeah.
What did Theo Johnson do last year, man?
Nothing. He didn't really. I don't think he was starting. I think it was Bellinger. So I think he only had like 30 catches for No,
I'm with an F. I'm with Rob. This is brutal. They are banking on a lot of projections here, and Bellinger doesn't move the needle for me. This is a rough group. I guess Alec Boehm did something bad.
What a shock. Did he lose us another game?
Probably. Maybe. I don't watch him right now.
Theo Johnson is an elite athlete. He came from Penn State, shattered all the records. I'm pretty sure his raw athletic score was like a 10 out of 10, and showed some wiggle at the Senior Bowl. And for me, he was a day 3 guy. And by the end of it, I think, was he a second round pick, Ryan? Fourth round pick? He was a fourth round pick?
Early 4th.
All right. So I feel that, he's got a long way to go, but that room scares me. Let's roll to the tight end group for the Dallas Cowboys. Looking at Jake Ferguson, who struggled with injuries, had a decline, like everyone else on offense with the Dallas Cowboys, had a decline in production. They've got Luke Schoonmaker. They've got Brevin Spanford from Minnesota, who I love.
I did like him coming out last year, yeah.
That was my guy. Where would you put the Cowboys tight end group, Ryan?
I mean, I guess a C. I feel like, if he can stay healthy, I think Ferguson's a halfway decent tight end. And Schoonmaker has certainly shown in his very, very, very limited ability that he can catch a ball, but they haven't really done anything with Ford yet. I don't know. I just think Ferguson is like I said, a decent tight end that carries this to a C.
Rob.
I think Ferguson's a good tight end. I know they didn't have a good year last year, but I think he is a good tight end. And I think when you pair that with a Schoonmaker who isn't a bad player either, I mean, Jesus, if we're giving the Eagles for one tight end to B, I don't know. I think you can fight your way into that B- range for the Dallas tight end room when you talk about 2 guys that both can contribute, where the Eagles have really one guy that's going to contribute, and you don't even know because of the energy or the Jesus Christ, the injury.
Energy.
Yeah, that too. They don't have the energy either.
He's a big energy guy.
He is actually.
Rob, that's fair, because there were times when Jake Ferguson looked like his upside was pretty high.
I mean, I don't know about that, but
yeah.
let's not call him a top
All right, we're gonna keep it at C. We're gonna keep it.
League.
We're gonna keep it at C. Puntman says Spoon who.
Spoon
Marshawn, what's going on? Marshawn says Penn State guys are mid. Only 2 generational talents. The rest are mid to trash.
I would love to know who those official 2 are.
Micah Parsons and Saquon Barkley. So he's saying.
So basically,
forget about LeVar Arrington.
Yeah. So basically, I only
Paul Puslesny, who was a good player.
Yeah, I only started watching 10 years ago.
Paul Puslesny would have been great. His neck injury. He got the neck injuries that hurt him.
Sure did. He sure did.
All right, let's roll to offensive line. Can we just move it to S and move on?
Yeah, move on.
They're just so ridiculously deep.
Yeah.
Let's go to the offensive line for the Washington Commanders. You look at Laramie Tunsil. I think he's a really good pass protector, but he's old. I didn't like that move for me personally. Sam Cosmi is one of my favorite guards in the NFL. 26 years old. He is coming off an ACL, a torn ACL in the playoffs. So keep an eye on that. But when he's healthy, the dude is one of the best run blockers and pass protectors in football. Tyler Biada's awesome at center. And then the big question mark for the Commanders is Josh Connerly Jr., who was one of their top picks. He's going to be their right tackle, and that would allow Andrew Wiley and Brandon Coleman to play inside and maybe not push Sam Cosmi to start sooner rather than later. Where would you put the Washington Commanders offensive line, Rob?
I think they got a pretty decent offensive line, and they have depth, like you said. I love their center. I love Cosmi when he's healthy. I'm a little higher on Tunsil. I do agree with you that he's a much better pass protector. And I guess he is getting up there in age. I still remember when the Eagles, the year that he was drafted, and the gas mask and everything else. But,
he's the example, man.
Yeah, but I got to be honest. Like and listen, you could talk me into either letter, so I'm fine with it. But I'm in the AB range with them because I do think they have decent enough depth that if Cosmi's hurt, they have somebody that they can plug in. So I'm in the AB range for them.
AB for Rob. I also agree they were my second favorite team in the NFC East outside of the Eagles. Where are you at, Ron?
Yeah, I'm going to go with B just because there's a lot of new pieces. And consistency does matter. I think talent-wise, I think they could easily be an A by the end of the year. But, again, there's a lot of question marks on how it's all going to work. You have a rookie coming in. You have a brand new tackle on the other side who, again, is certainly not on this side of the 30 mark. But, so I think there's potential for A, but I'll give it a B for now.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun matchups between the offensive line and defensive line in the NFC East. But the best one is Nolan Smith versus Josh Connerly Jr. That is going to be must-see TV between the Eagles and the Commanders. Let's go. I'm going to go with the B. Let's go to the New York Giants. The Giants, Andrew Thomas, the dude cannot stay on the field, has played less than 1,000 snaps the last 2 years. John Michael Schmitz, I remember he was one of my guys a couple of years ago.
Did you just say John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmitz?
No. Close. Okay. No. Minnesota, second year.
Yes, sir. I thought he was like a second-round guy, and he was, but he has not backed it up. And that Giants O-line has been a mess. Where are you at, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have John Runyon. You have didn't they drafted Marcus
Bo.
Embo. He's solid. He's pretty good, but he's a project.
They still have Evan Neal there. I'm pretty sure they finally got him out of the starting lineup.
He stinks.
I mean, this is a D offensive line. They are improving slightly, but still they have a long way to go.
Rob.
D is right. I'll be honest. Don't know who Greg Van Roten or Jermaine blah, 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 blah are. Yeah, I said it.
Illuminor.
Yeah, if I don't know the right side of your line, you're not getting higher than a D.
Rob loves him some triple Ds. Let's go to
who doesn't?
All right. We are 50 minutes in, and we're still at the Cowboys.
No, this is absurd. We are taking way too freaking long.
Should we just split this show in half?
No, we're gonna do this.
Come on, I'm tired. I want to go bed.
Let's blow through the defense. We'll just blow through the defense. We'll just give the rankings. Get the hell out of here.
Offensive line for the Cowboys. Tyler Smith is just 24 years old at guard, one of the best in the game. Tyler Booker versus Jalen Carter is going to be the best storyline to start the season. Where are you at with offensive line for the Cowboys, Ryan?
I think this is tough. I think C plus.
Yeah, they have Cooper Beebe, who's pretty good.
Beebe, Tyler Booker, again, first round pick, but still isn't bad. Tyler Smith is, whatever. Tyler Guyton, again, an early pick from last year that still needs to prove himself. So there's a little bit of potential there, but yeah, they still need to prove a lot, honestly.
This guy. Marshawn, you showed up late. I wish you didn't show up at all. That's what I have to say. Wish you didn't show up at all.
Not shaking those longer beats.
Never.
Can we block him? Can we just throw him out of the chat?
Never would I ever block Marshawn.
No. Never. I had the Dallas offensive line in a B, but I also can live with the C because when you have a staple like they did retire, it's going to be hard to replace that. Sure. Yes, they drafted the heir apparent, but we've talked enough about rookies here tonight. You can't necessarily trust them. So with that, I would say B, but I can live with C.
MGS says Cowboys are.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. Let's go through
rapid fire.
There we go. Eagles defensive line. Jalen Carter is the engine. Played like a defensive MVP last year. 125 total pressures the last 2 years. But the amount of times he gets double teamed on a week-to-week basis is even crazier. Nolan Smith, year 2, was outstanding. Felix Hunt, Moro Jomo, you go on and on.
It's not how we rapid fire.
All right. D-line, Ryan, what do you got?
I'm going to go with a B. Mm-hmm. Mostly because I think there's, obviously Carter, we don't need to talk about him. But I think there's some other players that came on late last year, and I'm going to need to see the continuation of their development, the Nolan Smiths, the Hunts, et cetera. And there's a lot of new pieces here. You're giving Moro Jomo a little bit more time, taking over. Again, I need to see it a little bit more, but I think it is improved.
Yeah, and there were times when they struggled last year, the defensive line, and they lost Josh Sweat, Williams. Rob.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with Ryan here. I think it's a B because there's too many unknowns, too many what ifs outside of Jalen Carter. You look, Moro Jomo, you look Jordan Davis, you look Jalix Hunt, you look, Azeez Ojulari. You look at all these guys. It's a lot of what ifs, hopefuls. So I don't think you can go higher than a B.
All right. Washington Commanders defensive line, they suck. They have major question marks. Johnny Newton needs to take a major step forward. They didn't really add much. I think this is one of the worst groups in football, and really bodes well against the Eagles' offensive line again in 2025, as we saw Saquon carve them up. I'm going a D or an F.
Oh,
wow!
Where are you
Jesus.
at, guys? I don't like the Commanders' D-line.
You don't like Kinlaw and Payne being the starting defensive tackles?
Yeah, that at least gives you a little bit.
No, I'm not a fan.
Oh, I couldn't disagree with you more.
All right, Rob. What do you got, Rob?
I mean, I feel kind of stupid. I'm hoping you at least come in the middle and not towards him, Ryan. But I had him in a B. I really did. I had him at a B. I mean, because Newton now is the third D tackle, and has to, play into that role. But you got Wise on the one end, Armstrong on the other. But I think the Kinlaw-Payne dynamic in the middle could be good.
Hey,
Again, they're a great pass rushing unit, but in terms of defending the run, they got carved up last year. Carved up.
Dives, just please note at minute 55, Rob just said, I hope you come in the middle.
Jesus Christ.
Just clip it. I'd love to be able to play it on the side here at any time.
I didn't even hear that.
Kind of like
sons of bitches.
Yeah, I want another one of those. But I'm gonna go with D.
All right, D it is.
Yeah, I got you. The Kinlaw and Newton and Payne are certainly okay, but you're right. They're not great in the run game. Eagles obviously proved that last year. And nobody knows who the hell their edge players are anyway. So
let's go on to the Giants defensive line.
Oh boy.
Which could be one of the more interesting storylines of the NFC East. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, amazing. His Brian Burns season last year was solid. This really depends on how quick you think Abdul Carter is going to have an impact in 2025. But when you look at like the other Ojulari and then going to Abdul Carter, I think this could be one of the better D lines in the NFL.
Yeah,
I think this is an A. I'm going A. Where are you guys at?
I'll go A.
I'll go A because you then talk about, oh, by the way, we're backing you up, Abdul, with Kayvon Thibodeau. We drafted Darius Alexander, who I think we all kind of liked in this draft. They added Chauncey Golston. Not that he's a great player, but he's, they're a good defensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a good defensive line.
And they're deep, yeah.
Yeah, they are going to be a fun group. MGS says Eagles linebacker group is insane. We're about to get there. We're almost there.
Geez, we haven't even gotten there yet. Jesus.
Giants have an S tier D line, A for the Giants. Let's go to the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, very similar to the Commanders. Their pass rush is solid, but their run defense is garbage. They added Donovan Ezeraku. They have Osa Odigizua. I probably butchered.
Yeah, you did.
He's a defensive tackle that is another good pass rusher, but not a good run defender.
Yeah.
Where you at, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a C, and C just for Micah Parsons alone. Mazzie Smith blows. Solomon Thomas has been or overvalued, I should say, underperforming his entire career. Dante Fowler is 78 years old. I mean, come on, what are we doing here?
Pop man, fun fact: Chauncey Billups is like one of my favorite basketball players of all time.
That's gross.
Oh man, he was awesome. That whole Detroit Pistons team.
Yeah, what
in
is
the
wrong
early
with
2000s? I watched that on the reg. Robbery. I do.
Yeah, I'm at a C. I'm a little bit higher on him, but I mean, Micah Parsons himself. You can't be less than a C without Micah Parsons. I like the tackle that none of us can pronounce.
Yeah,
Osa. Hold on.
Not gonna work here anymore.
Odigizua.
Sure.
Yeah,
let's go to linebacker.
Sleep at night. Go for it.
You guys go linebacker first because I'll make people mad later.
Oh no.
Eagles linebacker Zach Bond, by far a tier above everyone else in this group. $51 million extension. He was 5th in Defensive Player of the Year voting. You look at Jahad Campbell, who's theoretical, projected, like a great clone of Zach Bond, a guy that can play on the line, drop back in coverage, has range. Trot Jr. is going to be an underrated piece, at least early on in the season. I am at an A for the Eagles linebacking group. Where you at, Ryan?
This one's going to keep me up at night. I don't think I can go A.
Yeah.
Ryan,
I'm with you, buddy.
I feel like out of respect for Zach Bond and the year that he had, I give him a little extra, but clearly we're not doing in-betweeners. So I'm going to have to say a B because there is some uncertainty. We have been hearing conflicting information on Nakobe Dean. His defensive coordinator says, "Hey, don't expect him anytime soon." And Dean's saying all the right things. We don't know what kind of player we're getting when he comes back, even when he is quote unquote healthy. Jahad Campbell, again, somebody who is not going to be available until August, according to the D coordinator as well. So you really don't know what's going on there. And then after that, it pretty much falls off a cliff. You have Trotter Jr., who, again, we all love and have love the potential there, but, again, unproven. Smail Munden Jr., again, another rookie that had super potential but fell late in the draft. And, you lost probably the best linebacker ever in Ben Van Sumeren, who's now a fullback. So, no, I'm just kidding on the last part.
Way to keep this short, Ryan.
Oh, I know. I'm failing miserably. But listen, linebackers are my thing. I had to say B because I don't know if we are going to get the same Zach Bond. I think we might get a little slight. It's a smidge. Just saying.
Rob.
Regardless, we're not casuals, me and Ryan. We are realists. We're non-fanboys who just sit there and suckle at the teat of the Philadelphia Eagles. I said it. It's a B because there is a ton of uncertainty after Zach Bond. You don't know when Jahad Campbell is going to even be able to get on the field yet, let alone become a starter in the NFL. Nakobe Dean may not play all season. Who the hell knows what's going to happen there? We all would love to say Trot's going to be great, but we don't know that at this point. Smail Munden, we don't know what the hell he's got. And, this is why we wanted them to bring back an Oren Burks in the offseason for this exact event. The depth can be there, but there's too many injuries and unknowns right now that if you're being fair and impartial, it's got to be a B.
Fair. Totally fair. I still, you did not waver me off of the A. I think Zach Bond is a tier above everything. And given how much they run, 2 tight ends, and I feel like it's a non-issue.
Go back up to MJS's second comment. You have to look at what they've done. You can't. Because you got 2 guys who are injured right now who aren't due back until after, one of them till after training camp starts, and the other one, we don't know when the hell he's going to be back. The way Fangio's talking, we may not see him until December.
Yeah, we know Bond. Bond's fine.
We know Bond, but you can't rate an entire linebacking room on one guy. Let's be real.
Is there some confidence where they were able to just, rotate Dean and Burks, and they were completely fine with the guy playing next to Zach Bond?
Listen, that is my hope.
Is Jeremiah Trotter going to be able to replicate? And I know people are going to say, "Are you kidding me? You're going to name Oren Burks played out of his mind."
Yeah,
when he came in for Nakobe Dean,
he was like you ever watch the program? He was like that dude that was on cocaine that just
I said this before. Like, Oren Burks is the one guy I wish they had brought back. Yeah. The one guy they didn't. The C.J. Gardner-Johnson trade and so forth. You can go on a list. The one move I did not like, the one move I hated, was letting Oren Burks go for that money. It was horrible.
Yeah, and yes, listen, I love Zach Bond. I think it was so important to re-sign him. I just think he also played out of his mind for the entire year when he has, again, not shown that level of success in the NFL prior.
Yeah, I agree with what Marshawn's saying because I am going to choke slam the chat.
Oh, all day. I can't wait for that to ever happen.
Well, no, I'm not going to apologize to you, dude, because that would mean that Jahad Campbell came back. Right now, we don't know where they're going to be because of injuries.
The strength of this team. I'm sorry. God. One man is not the strength of a team. That's how it works.
All right, let's go to, I think, the second best unit. That's the Commanders, Bobby Wagner. He is 35 years old. He's really solid. as a run defender, as a tackler, as a blitzer. Then you got Frankie Louvu, Eagles enemy number one.
He's a damn beast, is what he is.
He is, and
He's a.
I thought, yeah, he's a great blitzer, but he is the most overrated run defender in football.
Yes,
by far. And he's just a big mouth and a terrible run defender. Where you at, Ryan, with the Commanders linebacker?
Yeah, listen, I think they are, still a tier under where the Eagles are. So I'll have to, again, because we're not doing half tiers or anything like that anymore. But so I'll say a C tier. But again, I think I do like Louvu, to be all perfectly honest. And I just am waiting for the Bobby Wagner drop off, but it just never seems to happen.
Rob.
Yeah, I would have said B because I think Frankie Louvu is really good. The Wagner drop off has not happened yet, and since we're only allowed to go off what they've done,
oh my God.
I would lean B, but I'd probably be in that B- range. So if we wanted to go with a C, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm going with the C. I just can't forgive their run defense last year. With
there's a clear drop off between the Eagles and the rest of this division. I agree.
Marshawn says Rob's rants are beon than.
I mean, let him on the
hot. Get this dude a drink.
I don't drink. Sorry.
Rob's linebacker rant is better than Mickey's rant to Rocky about not fighting Clever Larry. All right. Let's go to the Giants. Oh my gosh. Here's the next name I'm going to butcher. Yeah. Bobby Okereke. Okereke.
No. I don't know what it is, but I know it's not that.
No, it's not that.
I'll give him a C. Why not?
But, yeah, I mean, I'm giving them a C. So
no, I'm giving them a D.
A D. All right.
I have to mute for a minute. I'm getting a phone call.
Micah McFadden. Who the hell is that? Ain't nobody knows who the hell that is. Rob's taking personal phone calls on the show. What is happening? Pets' heads are falling off.
Look at the linebacker group. I mean, you can McFadden. You've got
who's that? Who is that? Tell me who he is. Yeah. Tell me who he is.
We're gonna go with the D here. Yeah, we're gonna go with the D for the New York Giants. Let's go to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Who do they have?
Kenneth Murray.
DeMarvion Overshown, great athlete when he's healthy. Where are you at with the Dallas Cowboys? A D?
I'd say a C. I like them better than the Giants. I mean, listen, Kenneth Murray hasn't lived up to his, early draft status. Sanborn certainly kind of came out of nowhere in Chicago, and we'll see what he does, in Dallas. But and I honestly don't mind Overshown. They also have Lufau, who's a decent backup. Yeah. So I'll give him a slight tear up from the Giants.
Yeah, that Dallas defense took such a step back last year. Yeah. That's why I'm at the D range. We'll wait for Rob to be the tiebreaker there. Rob, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, had a phone call.
We have a C vote for the linebacking group and a D vote for the linebacking group for the Dallas Cowboys. Where are you at?
The Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. I kind of like Kenneth Murray Jr. I'm probably more in the C range.
Okay.
Yeah, because I like Kenneth more, and I actually think, although obviously he's got to come back from injury too, Overshawn I thought was a really good player for them before he got hurt. So I'll go with C range for them.
We know one Sports and Life pod says not putting the Commanders linebacker at least a B or Louvre one type. Yeah, I fully disagree. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you. We the one sports and life pod. But yeah, people are easily dumb in this chat, so just deal with it.
And also, the two of us disagreed with you. So
Well, yeah, well, you're always dumb. I don't think anything you say is smart. Dibes every now and again.
Not when it comes to linebackers.
But obviously, Dibes also said that Jalen Reagor would be better than Justin Jefferson. So
These linebackers are so good that they gave up like 200 yards plus.
Yeah, right.
To the Eagles. Like, come on. Let's be real.
Come on, Rob. What are we talking about?
Frankie Louvu is a solid ass player.
He's a menace.
Who didn't give up 200? Let me ask you this: who didn't give up 200 rushing yards at the Eagles last year? Like 2 teams?
The Commanders' run defense was horrible last year. One of the worst units in football all year. They were. They were. And at what point can we just call a spade a spade?
Hard for a linebacker to make a play if the defensive tackles aren't taking the blocks.
Fair.
Oh well, wait a minute. Well, didn't you just rant and rave about their defensive tackles as well?
Was Javon Kinlaw on their team last year?
No, but they also had a very good in Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen was hurt for half the season.
He was still there.
Next,
for one of our games.
Move on.
Next, one of our games. Next.
Right. Thanks for the comment. All right. MGS says Jihad called him to let him know he's going to be a stud. Who are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Let me know, MGS.
I'm very confused.
We've lost complete traction of this show. Cowboys are the easy F. Oh wow!
Yeah, that's.
See, people just get so caught up in their hatred for Dallas. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. All right, keep moving.
Christoph is better than Tommy Gunn's boxing career. All right, let's roll on to cornerback. Let's wrap it up. Eagles, Cooper DeJean, phenomenal, as we know. Did not allow a touchdown in 97 targets. Dominant in man, as he was in zone all year last year. Q, phenomenal coverage. Teams didn't throw his way. That's going to be interesting to see with more data how that projects into 2025. Ryan, where are you at with the cornerback room for the Birds?
Yeah, listen, I think we are certainly on the right path. I'm a little concerned about CB2. I am a Ringo fan, but obviously there's probably a reason why he hasn't garnered more playing time. But I'm hoping I'll feel a lot better heading into week 1. But man, this is tough. I'm like right in between an A and a B.
Rob.
I don't know how you could be between an A and a B when we don't know who CB2 is yet, but I do know that you can say B based off of Quinion and Cooper being two of the 3 parts.
They run nickel all the time, man.
Yeah.
Out there all the time.
Yeah. So that's why I said. So I could give it a B in that situation. I just can't give an A until I have a CB2 that I know I can trust.
Yeah. And that we made that point, I think, on Birds of the Roundtable last week, is how many times did teams completely neglect Q's side of the field and just go right at Darius Slay? And luckily, Slay was, for the better part of last year, excellent.
Played well.
Well, if what Marshawn says is true, we can move this up to an S tier.
Yeah.
That is for sure. What did I miss?
Marshawn's the next one down.
Alexander. Oh,
that's any more tries.
Yeah, we talked on our Discord. Like, I would be all on board for Jair Alexander to come to the Philadelphia Eagles. I agree. I'm not a Keely Ringo guy. I'm intrigued with this upside, but at the end of the day, I think the other backup is more of a coverage corner in a Vic Fangio system in Adoree Jackson. This one's really hard. I got to go B. Yeah. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, I think.
I think B is where I would have to stay
that's
because
why I was kind of like, again, the potential of the two, second-year players are so grand, and you have 2 out of the 3 spots locked. It's just the uncertainty of the 2.
Right. So hopefully we get Jair Alexander. That'd be terrific. Pickens is going to child abuse Keely Rambo.
Wow.
If you're going to insult the guy, get his friggin' name right, you jackass.
Right? Seriously.
Dean, based on what Vic Fangio said, Dean is not ahead of schedule. It sounds like we could be looking at,
and how do you know Trott is fine? Like, we haven't seen Trott play on defense enough to say Trott is fine.
And why did Vic Fangio basically say, don't expect to see him anytime soon?
And Jahab, I can't wait for him. Right. But he's not going to be ready to August?
Yeah.
So it's going to be more.
Remember DeJean.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Cooper. Literally what I was about to say. It's more than likely a ramp up in August.
Right.
And then we'll see him in like week 4, week 5 type of situation.
Yeah.
So,
which is fine. It's fine. Just that to get to that point, I think, is where the question mark and why the uncertainty is happening. Yeah. I don't think you're going to get anybody that's worthy of the position until Campbell's ready to fully take it over.
All right. By the way, I rescind my agreement with We Do One Sport and Life pod because he's just making jackass statement after jackass statement now. Oh, no. So I rescind any agreements I've ever had with him.
Oh, wow. That was
interesting. Marshawn says Ringo is a bigger Ronald Darby. If you all go all in on Jair Alexander, Eagles should be a C or a D.
I mean,
Pickens is one argument away from wrecking their locker. I agree with that, Marshawn. Go ahead and put Cooper at CB2 and watch him beat garbage juice.
No one said we were putting him at CB2, dude. Except for in base. Base, he'll play on the outside, but they're barely ever in base. So, thank you for your time.
Wow, Rob's real fired up today. Taking phone calls, yelling at people. Like, God, I love this, Rob.
Yeah, Coop will be in the slot. He's the best slot cornerback in football, as he was, and he's
right, let's roll to the next one.
Let's go to the Commanders cornerback room. Big fan of Mikey Sanders still. No, really?
Because outside of Mikey Sanistro, I think Lattimore's cooked. I'm not sure.
I'm at a B. I think Mike Sanders still is legit.
I think Mike Sanders still is legit, but I think Marshawn Lattimore's cooked. And I'm not ready to say that the Amos kid rookie is ready to be the guy. Like I agree with you on Sanders still, but I can't get Marshawn Lattimore was getting beat up and down the field by everyone last year.
Mikey Sanders still was also playing out of position for the betterment of last year.
Yeah.
And I give Lattimore a full offseason. I think he'll be okay, but man, I'm at a B. Where you at, Ryan?
Yeah, I'll go with B as well. I'm a big fan of Sanders still. I think Lattimore has enough in his tank left, and then I love the potential of Amos. Again, obviously don't know what you're going to get there, but I did like him coming into the draft this year.
All right, Cowboys. Deron Bland missed 10 games last year. Played terrible. Didn't have a pick. Coverage was bad. Where you at, Ryan? Coverage. Quarterback room for the Cowboys.
Yeah, you still have Trevon Diggs. Again, who was a little banged up, or really banged up. So I think he comes into this healthy. I do like him, but Bland I'm not a fan of. So just to be different, I guess I'll say a C.
Rob,
I would have went B- C range, so I'll lean C here.
Yeah, same. That's kind of what I did there.
All right, C for the Cowboys, and then we get to the New York Giants.
What's below an F? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They're not that bad, but they're not
what
good.
Do they have?
Paulson Adebo.
Adebo is kind of nice.
Deontay Banks, not great.
Deontay Banks didn't. I mean, I was a big fan of his during the draft process.
Sure.
Has not translated. DF, where are we at?
I'm in a D.
Drew Phillips. Is that the second year from Kentucky?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
I'm in a D.
Has to be a D. Yeah.
All right, D for the New York Giants, and then we get to safety.
Yeah,
Leading.
it.
What's that?
Am I the only one who has the Giants as the best in this group?
No, the Giants with Javon Holland is by far.
And Tyler Nubin, I got them as a B, the Giants.
Javon Holland is the guy that.
How about we start with the Eagles?
The next Giants guy I wish the Eagles had next to Xavier McKinney. Like, I'm kind of jealous they have him in the secondary. Rob, where are you at with the safety room for the Giants?
For the Giants, I got him as a B. I'd like him. I don't know about Holland yet from the standpoint of, obviously, he's a little soft, couldn't handle a Vic Fangio defense, but I like him in the B range. Or them.
Brian?
Yeah, I think it's a solid B for sure. I like Holland if he has some things left, and Newman coming out of Minnesota. I was in love with two safeties that year, and man, I really wanted Newman.
Yeah, and then you get to the Eagles. Reed Blankenship was again underrated last year, but him now as the number one safety is a bit worrisome to say the least. Drew Makuba, this is a guy that's going to get thrown into the fire for the better or worse. Sidney Brown stinks. Tristan McCollum will probably be forced to start if Makuba's not ready for the speed of the NFL, assuming they don't add Justin Simmons. Where are you at, Ryan, for the safety group for the Birds?
Yeah, I think because, I think right now Makuba is listed as your other starter. Yeah, I think it has to be a C just because you don't know exactly what you're going to get with Makuba. Blankenship's been fine, but, as the second option mostly. So him kind of being the number one guy back there, as we've mentioned before, we've had many shows where we wanted him to be the third safety, but here we are. So,
Rob.
Yeah, no, I think you got to go C. You're really not sure what that second safety is. And like you said, Dibes, Reed Blankenship being safety number one, I don't know how much I love that.
Yep. And then we get to the Washington Commanders, who have nobody, absolutely nobody. Their secondary room is really.
I haven't even heard of any of these guys.
Yeah, you look at the safety room, Will Harris, Quan Martin.
Don't know who they are.
Jeremy Reeves, like nobody young. This might be right there with the Giants tight end room.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at?
I don't know the names, so I'm going to go F out of not knowing.
F.
If you don't know the answers on a test and you guess, chances are you're going to get an F.
Yeah, this is an easy F.
And then we get to the Dallas Cowboys. They have Malik Hooker, who really struggled last year. A D?
Yeah, I'd say DC, somewhere in there.
I mean, Donovan Wilson, who the heck is even that?
Donovan Wilson.
I mean, he's been around the league for a couple of years. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, I'm going D.
Yeah, I'll go with D as well.
D for the Dallas Cowboys at safety. And there is our final position ranking for the NFC East heading into 2025. Daniel says the Commies got some great coaches in their second safety room. I'll throw it to you, Rob. Final thoughts, plugs. What did we learn from this exercise?
We learned nothing other than people suck. No.
Wow.
We learned what I mean is we learned what we knew. The Eagles, talent-wise, are the best team in the division. I do think there's more of a debate on who the second team is, but a lot would have to go right for the Dallas Cowboys, but I do think that they can compete with the Commanders for that role. And the Giants are a pathetic group of individuals calling themselves a football team. I think, so from all that stands, but as we all know, you got to go play the games. So this is all being done on paper. So we'll see what happens.
Ryan.
Yeah, this definitely told us everything we already knew of how this division, talent-wise anyway, kind of falls. Eagles are the clear cut above the rest. Washington is certainly an up-and-coming team, but again, I think they're due for a little bit of a backslide. Dallas is always going to be Dallas. They're going to be always kind of in contention and right up until they're not. And Giants are, oh my God, they're such a hilarious, fun, just train wreck to watch. Trying to put together their team, so always fun.
Marshall says we learned that.
You know what? No, he's going to feel bad about this because that was my daughter crying that I was talking to on the phone, Marshawn. So shut your pie hole.
What did you say? Your what?
My daughter was crying on the phone.
Oh.
Okay. So shut up, Marshawn.
Was it from
shut up?
He doesn't take calls from Wawa anyway.
No. And actually, I would have ordered from Sacanti's or Papa Luigi's if I would have ordered pizza. But as I told my counterparts here, we're trying something new these days. We're trying something new.
Is your daughter okay? That's
yeah.
That's
she's
priority number one.
Priority number one is she was being dramatic.
Wow. What a shocker. A daughter of yours being dramatic.
Yeah. But it was cute. It was honestly cute. She misses me because she's at her mom's. She's been there since Friday. I've seen her basically every day, but she wants to be home with Dad, you know.
My final take on this exercise is the Eagles are set up to dominate the NFC East. You look at the defenses here across the NFC East, man, the way the Eagles O-line and running back room and everything's set up, dude, you got to feel good. You got to feel good. So I feel like the way the Eagles match up with the Commanders, the way they match up with the Cowboys and the Giants, oh my God, this is going to be a lot of fun. So at least for the next 2-3 years, the Eagles should be looking really good, especially when you consider the Eagles have substantial cap space going forward and like 5-6 picks in the top 3 or 4 rounds next year in the draft. Like they're looking very solid. So guys, thank you everyone for watching. We are Party on Broad. We'll be going live tomorrow night over at Eagles Pin Pool for Birds of the Round Table, breaking down more Eagles news. We are talking hypotheticals and what's the word I'm looking for, Ryan? It's hyperboles. We're talking Eagles hyperboles heading into 2025. So be on the lookout for that. He is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. He is Philly_Madness. My man Rob Lange. I promise you guys I'll get back to doing shorts. I have taken a hiatus with that, and that will be coming soon. He is Ryan. He is Rob. I am Dodds. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome, everyone.